What's up, snobs? Shane here to share my thoughts on this year's Academy Awards after a couple days of thinking about it. There's a lot that I want to talk about, both the results and the presentation of those results. You know, if we were doing a award for the most questionable decision that the Academy made this year, we would have so many deserving nominees. And the Oscar goes to... Before we get into the presentation of the results, let's talk about the awards themselves and the movies they went to. I thought this year it really was in line with what we've seen over the last couple years. Really since probably La La Land, we've had this trend where even if one movie gets a bunch of nominations, Mank had 10 this year, the awards themselves get spread out pretty evenly. And so what we ended up with is Nomadland with 3, and then, like 5 or 6 other movies with 2. There wasn't really any one movie that dominated and steamrolled and won every single award. And so, I kind of like this approach to the way that they're doing it. It gives love to, a bunch of different deserving movies. There wasn't anything super surprising outside of Best Actor. Most of the awards went the way we thought that they were going to go. For the most part, it was pretty predictable. There were a couple, like Best Song that could have gone a couple different directions and ended up going the way that it did. There was also, the result of Best Adapted Screenplay going for The Father instead of Nomadland, but that movie had some momentum late. And then obviously Best Actress and Best Actor. Best Actress was kind of a toss-up going into the night. Viola Davis or Carey Mulligan could have also won, but Frances McDormand, that's not a huge surprise. The big surprise, obviously, is Anthony Hopkins beating Chadwick Boseman. If you watched my award show, The Snobbies, that would have been my personal pick. That's how I would have voted if I had a vote for the Oscars. And so I was thrilled to see Anthony Hopkins win, but very surprised. I didn't think he had any chance to win. And apparently neither did the Academy based on the decisions they made. But somehow he pulled that off, and I think that was a tremendous performance that I'm glad got recognized. There were some bummers. It was sad to watch One Night in Miami come away with nothing, to watch Leslie Odom Jr. get, he started off with so much momentum, and, I think if the awards had been held when they're normally held in February, we would have seen different results. He possibly would have won Best Supporting Actor and Best Song, and instead he came away with nothing. And so there were, some results like that were kind of bummers, but overall, the night went the way that we thought it was going to go, outside of a couple major exceptions. But unfortunately, no one's talking about the results. What they are talking about is the presentation. And, this is a year where the Academy was forced to do something different, and that could have resulted in something really cool or something that didn't quite work. And unfortunately, it seems like it was the latter by most accounts. They brought in Steven Soderbergh, who is a pretty inventive director, to do something different, and they gave him control of the show, and he took advantage of that. That opening that was shot like a movie set kind of a cool tone, but I miss the big Oscar intro. I miss Neil Patrick Harris hosting and doing a big song and dance number with tons of, background stuff going on and stuff. And I get why we couldn't do that this year. But even, a Billy Crystal one-man show monologue with jokes, that to me feels like the Oscars. Just having Regina King stand up there and spout off some political views didn't totally work for me. But it seems like most people were on board with the first half of the show. I think the decision to cut the clips wasn't great. I think that helps build an interest for the average person. If you didn't see the Italian version of Pinocchio, you don't know how to feel about their costume and hair and makeup being nominated. But those clips give you a reason to root for that movie. And so eliminating that and just having the presenters talk about the nominees and, in Laura Dern's case, like have to personally compliment them, I thought was a weird choice that didn't really pan out. Then we got to the In Memoriam, and they sped through a lot of people just to get to the ones that it felt like they actually wanted to focus on, which was kind of an uncomfortable choice for me as a viewer. That one person, okay, let's just get through this person's respect so that we can actually show you who we want to show you, which is, Sean Connery and then Chadwick Boseman at the end. And that really set the tone for where the second half of the show was going to go. I didn't love the decision to rearrange the categories, to start with screenplay, to move, the supporting actor awards up, to move the director award way up. But all of that could have been forgiven if the end had gone more smoothly. Unfortunately, the end. We got to talk about the way that the Oscars ended.
And the Academy Award for Actor goes to Anthony Hopkins, the father. The Academy congratulates Anthony Hopkins and accepts the Oscar on his behalf. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for joining us tonight at the 93rd Oscars.
Every Oscars in my lifetime has ended the same way. It's ended with all the winners of Best Picture up on stage celebrating together. And it's this beautiful culmination of the entire process, culmination of the entire movie year, where this team gets to celebrate together. The individual awards are great, winning Best Actor or Actress is a great moment. But nothing compares to Best Picture, because it is the award that acknowledges, hey, all of this has to come together. And, you get to see the Best Actress on stage with the Best Director and, the nominee for Best Screenplay. You get to see them all together, because that's what it takes to make a great movie. One great performance doesn't make a great movie. It takes everyone. And so, you get to leave the Oscars on this high note of the celebration of collaboration in art. And they made the decision to move away from that this year. And I understand what they were going for. Obviously, they wanted to try to manufacture a moment. And if Chadwick Boseman's wife had gotten up and given a rousing speech, accepting the Oscar on his behalf, it would have been a very memorable moment and would have been a powerful way to end the show. But I think it would have been just as powerful if it had come, 10 minutes before the end of the show instead of right at the end. I don't think I would have walked away from that going, I wish they had just ended on that. Because this is a year where, I think it's great to celebrate the collaboration. And so in making the decision to move Best Picture up, it was shocking. I could not believe that they were actually announcing the results that far into the show. And I think it robbed a lot of people of great moments. They bet it all on this one moment happening that didn't happen. And as a result, I think they kind of ruined the entire show. I thought Joaquin Phoenix was the absolute wrong person to put in that position. He is who he is. I don't think there's any problem with him presenting an award there. I would have flipped it. I would have had him present the Best Actress award. That way, he's not the one in that situation, because, he's a different dude, and he's going to go out there and say what he's going to say. And that's not the person that I think the Academy would want handling a moment that required more sensitivity. You could also have had a host. That would have been a great moment for Regina King to get back up and close the show. It just felt like there was no contingency plan. It felt like no one stopped at any point in the process and said, what if Chadwick doesn't win? What if Anthony Hopkins wins and we're put in this situation where we have nothing to show, no one to speak, and Joaquin Phoenix is the one who's going to close the show? They didn't prepare for the worst case scenario for them, and that's exactly what happened. And so I think there needed to be a contingency plan. If you're going to flip it like that, have someone say something, because it ended on such a bizarre moment. Everyone that I was watching with was stunned. It was like, wait, what? What happened? It's over? And I think that was kind of the collective response. And so you need someone who's going to get up there and close it out. They could have even given Chadwick Boseman's wife an opportunity to have the last word. They could have told her, hey, if Anthony Hopkins wins, he's not going to be here. We're not going to have anyone. You can take that time and you can close out the show just by thanking, the industry for their support or whatever. But they didn't have a plan, and it really backfired and blew up in their face. And I thought it was terrible. I thought this is the worst Oscars that I've seen since probably James Franco and Anne Hathaway hosted. It was just boring. It wasn't fun. It was hard to defend. It was the typical nominees, but even more so, the couple big blockbusters that people actually did see, the Academy completely ignored. And so, as a film lover, as someone who the Oscars is one of my favorite days of the year, I found myself in this terrible position where, people were complaining and I couldn't defend the Oscars anymore. And, I think all the ratings and viewership bear that out. This was horrific for the Oscars. This was the worst ratings they've ever gotten. It was under 10 million people, and it was plummeting in the 18 to 49 demographic. And so they have to do something different or they're going to die. This award show is just going to fade slowly away unless they do something big and drastic and different, and not in a weird way, not in a double down, let's nominate only small indie movies no one's ever heard of and then not show any clips and then not celebrate when we get the big award at the end. Don't do that. Do something different. Also, young people don't have cable, so find a way to put it on streaming. Make a deal with Netflix. Make a deal with Hulu, something like that. Because if you want 18-year-olds to watch the Oscars, guess how many 18-year-olds have cable? Not a ton. And so, I think the viewership ratings bear out everything that I'm talking about right now. But really, to me, the biggest missed opportunity was to celebrate your Best Picture winner. Based on the nominees and the way it was playing out, we knew Nomadland was going to win. And so you had the opportunity to end on the note of this movie that is, a celebration and an examination of the average American, these everyday people, these laborers, these blue-collar workers, directed by the first woman of color to ever be nominated and win Best Director. Why would you not want to celebrate that movie? Why would you bet it all on this moment with Chadwick Boseman that didn't end up happening when you could have celebrated this movie that, represents what the Academy is going for in terms of, diversity and storytelling and all of that? It just didn't make any sense to me, and I think it came back to totally bite the Oscars in the butt. Overall, I didn't like this year's Oscars, and that really is a bummer for me. It's one of my favorite days of the year. I look forward to it all year long, and it disappointed me. But if I'm being honest, it's been a disappointment for a while. I think they need to make major changes. I think they need to make it more accessible to the community, make it so that 18-year-olds can find it without having to pay for a cable package. Do whatever it takes in that regard. Make it more visually appealing. Make it more of a ceremony that I actually want to watch, not just people sitting around the table patting each other on the back. I think the speeches that people remember are the heartfelt ones. The director of Another Round sharing the story of his daughter and what she meant to the film and all of that was a special moment. Daniel Kaluuya just getting up there and, being overwhelmed with joy was a great moment. The grandma from Minari winning and getting up was a great moment. What people don't want is, what they expect. What the average viewer expects from the Oscars at this point is for an actor who is in a movie that they've never even heard of, wins an award and gets up and, goes on a 5-minute political rant that is everything that they scroll past on Facebook. And, I think that kind of presentation is part of the reason people don't want to watch. They want to watch a fun ceremony that celebrates movies they've actually seen. And so I think the Oscars is at a crossroads where they're either going to give people that, they're either going to start acknowledging movies that are outside of the typical Oscar scope that people have actually seen and heard of, or they're just going to continue to do what they've done for the recent history, and it's going to continue to slip further and further down in the ratings. And I really hope that the Oscars find a way to reinvent themselves. I hope they find a way to continue to be the most prestigious award show, to continue to be, exclusive and elite, but also make it fun, make it entertaining, make it enjoyable to watch. This was a year where even as a film fan, it just felt joyless. It didn't feel fun to watch. And so, I'm kind of bummed, but this puts a close on this year in film. And, now we get to start moving on and focusing on the next crop of movies that are going to come up and compete for the Oscar next year. And so hopefully they find a way to change things, and hopefully they bring back a host. I would love for them to get some host that is just going to really put their stamp on the show and guide it through the process and bring that joy and that entertainment and that fun back to the Oscars. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and check back for more content like this.